Welcome to the Pandemonium Witches podcast, where the ADHD has just a touch of autism, where the true crime is as scary as the hauntings and unsolved cases. But the hosts never stay on topic for long. I'm Kat.
I'm Rachel.
I'm Em.
And I'm Meg.
Keep your arms, legs, and other extremities in the vehicle at all times, and enjoy the show. Good morning.
Morning.
Hello.
I was like...
Apparently you have to turn the microphone in the on position.
Why is this not working? Okay, why is this not working?
What is not working about it?
Her mute button. Use your earbuds.
No, I got a new thing.
Oh.
And it's not working. What the fuck? It's brand new.
Now you're muted.
I've muted you now, so...
Well, whatever. Welcome to the shit show.
I like your shirt.
Oh, thanks.
I like your shirt for the shit show.
Rachel bought it for me.
It's cool.
It's my gym shirt.
Nice.
I've gotten so many compliments on this shirt.
Nice.
And then...
just add one more to the pile.
I got this. You ready?
Oh, look at this little mouth on the bottom.
We have matching cups.
That's adorable.
My husband is obsessed with your bag, by the way, Rachel. Would you like to see Meg?
Yes.
Okay.
They're so cute. Oh my gosh. That's adorable.
All of it is limited.
We love it. It's so cute.
It is. It's all limited edition fabric. I had to, because Sydney loves it. I was Snapchatting her yesterday and I was like, I'm going to kill my machine because I found out you weren't supposed to use industrial zippers with this bag. You were supposed to use the smaller hidden zippers.
Look, I like me an industrial zipper. You don't know how much anger I'm trying to pay for something. Make it hurt.
You muted yourself.
Am I unmuted now?
Yes.
Yes.
I got it fixed! Yay! And my mute button works now.
Yay!
Yay!
Hold on.
So excited about this.
So Sydney was commenting on the bag and how beautiful it is, and she wants one. I said, absolutely. No less than $300. She goes, what do you mean? I said, Rachel's has cost about $500. So fabric, interfacing, webbing. Mind you, there's 8 different types of webbing in just the sewing world. This one's called canvas webbing, which is for tote bags. Did the instructions say that? No.
It's just a guide anyway.
Yeah. The instructions were never very clear, so I just made them my own and it turned out better. So I was like, anyways.
Sweet.
So we're continuing with the haunted ABCs?
Oui.
Ah, that is French.
It is because of where we're going today.
Oui, oui, titi, croissant. Where are we going?
We are going to Louisiana.
Oh my God. Okay. There is one house that you have to do, because I know you've gone to NOLA.
I have not, but my sister lived there, and I was like in the process of having babies, and they were all tiny, and like weirdly, New Orleans is not a great place for tiny tots.
Right. Because
so
of the
I didn't
ghosts.
get to go. That and also like the living beings, the human beings.
As opposed to the pinto beans?
Indeed. Yes, pinto beans are a little safer.
Yeah. Can you... There is one story that Rachel and I are kind of obsessed about if you want to deep dive on it, because it's based in Louisiana, and I know it's probably on your list for today. Rachel, do you want me to tell her? Yeah? Marie Laveau?
I'm gonna have to get used to having it on my mic and not on my phone, because I went over to touch my phone. I was like, nope, hold on.
Are you?
But yes,
I have a little blur about her grave on here, but I'm actually diving into a different one today that's equally as horrifying.
Okay.
Equally as horrifying?
Hold on. There's somebody equally as horrifying as Marie Laveau?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into brass tacks and talk about Louisiana.
Yeah, I was like, her last name also starts with an L too, so it must be something in the name.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I guess we will find out when we get there.
All right.
Join me on a journey of terror and upset. Also, we're gonna side note real quick because I'm a little upset. I've been drinking green tea because, like, health. And after I had COVID, I couldn't drink coffee anymore, which is a very sad day. But I got this green tea that had blueberry, and acai in it.
Uh-huh.
Right? It smells like baby vomit.
No.
And I thought maybe it was just day one that I was like, oh, it smells funny. No, it smells like baby vomit.
That is the worst smell on the planet. As somebody who used to do adult diapers, not on myself, obviously. I used to clean other people who wore adult diapers. But
vomit is just an awful smell. Like, doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, but like baby vomit is a weird like in between where you're like, oh, that's terrible, but also like it's a baby, they can't help it. But like that smell brings back so many and
especially if they're only bottle like, or they're still where they're not solid foods or
it's
yeah, and no, that soured smell. Yeah,
we're gonna need us to stick a trigger warning here to start. Or just leave this part out.
No, I'm leaving it all in.
I made a weird face after we got excited, and then that's why, because my blueberry green tea is ruined.
Oh, no.
All right, so let's cap it off by going to the terrible place of Louisiana. And I say terrible only because the hauntings, the place itself here is lovely. I've never been. So.
I hear the food is amazing.
Right? My boss actually went a while back because somebody on her team lives there. And so went down and like did the whole food thing. My mom's been down. I'm just the only one who like didn't get to go do cool things. So Louisiana is the 18th state admitted to the Union in 1812, which is very interesting. It was named after King Louis the 14th of France.
He was very gay.
Is he gay or European? That's from Legally Blonde. It's a whole song.
You're kidding.
No.
I love it.
No, I'm not going to give away the plot, so you'll have to go watch Legally Blonde. Okay. The capital is Baton Rouge. The state flower is the magnolia, and they have a state wildflower, which is the Louisiana iris.
Oh, okay. Louisiana irises are really pretty.
Indeed. But I love a good magnolia, too. Like,
they're gorgeous. Stunning.
Too pretty. State bird is the eastern brown pelican, which takes us to the state's nickname of the Pelican State.
Okay.
Them likes the birds. Right?
It sounds like it.
There's something creepy about a pelican, though.
It's the teeth. And the fact that they have none.
Oh, the fact that like it's the big little mouth thing.
Yeah, they remind me of
Is this a Star Wars reference? Where are we going?
I was like, I have not a clue.
Yeah, the guy from Star Wars. This is a trap.
Jabba the Hutt?
No!
Not Jabba the Hutt?
This is the trap. Hold on. Honey.
Yes,
the fish dude. It's
Oh.
Admiral something or other.
Yes.
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 It's
I know who you're talking about. It's in Phantom Menace.
Yes.
I understood that reference. Yes.
So, little terrifying fact.
Admiral
is
Akbar.
Pelicans.
Yes.
Little terrifying fact about pelicans. If they can fit it in their mouth, they will eat it, and that includes other birds.
Babies?
What?
They will try to eat children. You have not seen the videos of zookeepers having to take things out of the pelicans' beaks and like lead the pelicans away because they were terrorizing people.
No, weirdly,
Oh
my
my
feed
God.
is lacking in pelicans.
I could
I'd like
fix
to keep
that.
it that way. No, please don't fix it. Don't fix it.
I could fix it.
Oh God, don't. If you like me, don't do that. So moving on from the terrifying pelicans, the population is 4.59 million as of 2022. And the state insect is the honeybee.
Aw, honeybee. I love
The
that.
honeybee. Oh, no, shush. You have to be quiet. I'm recording. Thank you.
Is it
Sorry,
tame?
there are dogs.
Oh, it's
There
okay.
are 2 dogs here.
Oh.
So I'm dog sitting a dog named Beige, and he is indeed beige.
I would like to see Beige.
Hey, Beige, can you come here? Yeah, come here.
Did a child name him?
I don't think so. Just as
Okay,
Beige.
because that is definitely a child.
It looks like
name.
It looks like Winn-Dixie.
Oh my God,
kinda
it
looks like-
does.
Please don't lick my face. Okay, all right. And you guys, Tank or Tot, stop. Be cool. And they play all day long, so any dog noises, I apologize.
It's okay. It's all right. We had squeaky toys for a whole episode that we recorded, and it was hilarious when I was editing it because every time it would squeak, I'd just go, "Oh, that's cute," you know?
It's punctuation.
Yeah.
No, I take the squeaky toys because I can only do squeaky toys for a little while. So Tank will get a squeaky toy for like an hour, and then I'm like, all right, that's enough. And then like it's actually only one squeaky toy that I take, the big dragon that's as big as my dog. That's the one I take away because the squeak is so loud.
Well, it has to fit the dragon size.
Apparently, which is also the same size as the dog.
But the squeaky toys from my episode, it wasn't just punctuation; it was very aggressive squeaking.
I will remove this threat. They're just squeak. So, fun facts about Louisiana. The Louisiana Native Guards were the first unit in the Army to swear in African American officers in 1862.
Very nice.
Yes. The highest point in Louisiana, Driscoll Mountain, is 535 feet above sea level, while the lowest point, you guessed it, is New Orleans, which is 8 feet below sea level. Since much of New Orleans sits below sea level, mausoleums are often used instead of traditional underground graves. Because, like, y'all, if we're going to float when we're not all there together, that's creepy.
That's just creepy.
That's creepy. We don't need to have a dead man's parade.
Unfortunately, due to hurricanes, they found out just how everybody floats too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bad time for everybody.
Yeah.
You'll float too. Sorry. I never saw that movie. I just know that part. I'm that person who knows just enough to be dangerous and wildly wrong. So, sorry.
I love it. I love it. I am here for it.
The patent for Tabasco sauce was one of the first patents ever in the state of Louisiana and was filed in 1870. So, all you Tabasco sauce lovers, that's where you got it.
Love
and
it.
The first opera ever performed in the U.S. took place in the French Quarter of New Orleans in 1796.
Oh.
And I'm not going to pretend to do opera things because your girl's drinking vomit tea. It's not great. There are a billion facts about Louisiana, right? But I just wanted to grab a couple that maybe we didn't always talk about before I get into the spooky facts for today.
Okay.
So, on to spooky facts. We have the Bonnie and Clyde ambush site.
Oh,
as a haunted place.
really? Okay,
Yep.
I did a huge, sorry, completely squirrel off
You're good.
topic. I did a
Do
huge
it.
paper on them for criminal
Did you?
psychology in college. You're holding your nose and drinking it.
It's better. It's better. It tastes like blueberry then.
I did a criminal psychology paper on them in college.
Ooh.
I don't have that information because I was locked out of that account because it was a college paper and it was linked to my
Right.
email. So of course I saved it on there because why do they do that?
Because how dare you utilize the things that you might have researched for them? Maybe they just know it's useless.
Mm.
Get off of his face. If I get bit, somebody dies. Okay. It was a promise, not a threat. So, while Bonnie and Clyde were said to have died in the morning, stories say you can hear the sounds of gunfire in Gibson, Louisiana, on nights during a full moon.
Oh.
So if anybody was out during our strawberry moon for June, maybe you heard it. We also have, right, like, hey, if you're going to use the full moon, I'm not using it for gunfire, but like, whatever.
Right. Whatever your poison is, there you go.
Yeah, precisely. We also have the Diamond Grill in Alexandria as an upscale restaurant that features 5-star dishes. So if you're hungry and you got money, go there. The restaurant is not only known for their locally grown ingredients, but for their paranormal stuff, the little ghosties. There is the face of a man who peers through a window that was captured in a photograph taken by somebody who was just like bebopping by. And while the restaurant was closed, mind you, so like ain't nobody should have been there. That was the important part, as well as like the whole EVPs, dark shadows, things are moving on their own. You know, your usual
haunting stuff. Yeah,
restaurant hauntings. We also have the Shreveport Municipal Auditorium.
I drove through there.
Got a fifth. Did you? My sister did too.
There are a lot of because I can't really turn it off when I'm driving. I can turn it off for the most part, but not.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, when you turn it off when you're driving, you tend to miss things.
Yeah.
There are a lot of Confederate soldiers just walking.
I get you. Makes sense to me.
Mm.
I mean, what else they gonna do? They couldn't drive.
Rachel's dying.
That's just pointing it out.
I mean, you're not wrong, though. It ain't right, but it's not wrong.
You know what? Fair.
Yeah.
So in Shreveport, the local auditorium is somewhere where that like people gather for music and all of the sorts of things. But apparently it's been happening a lot, and there are a lot of memories that have just stayed. So one of the most frequent sightings is a young girl who plays peekaboo and also slams doors.
Immediately
peekaboo
no.
Also, get out.
Yeah, immediately no.
People also tend to hear the gentleman who tends to come up in my stories often, Elvis, talking and singing in the rafters. And for almost 13 years, people have come to the auditorium for one of their haunted tours where unexplainable occurrences happen everywhere. Like around every corner, something else is happening, something else is going on.
It is Louisiana.
It is. So things is happening.
Yeah.
We've got the Oak Alley Plantation, which, like, come on, how are we not going to have a plantation? Not my favorite place to be or talk about because, like, bad things, plantation, bad words. We don't call them plantation shutters anymore. Come on, people.
You're right.
The small Mississippi Riverside town of, let's go ahead and butcher this. Vacherie, Vacherie, is in or at the Oak Alley Plantation is where this occurs. It's like a 200-year-old home, which like fun, but also not all of that history can be good. So employees have been touched while working alone. Objects like to just fly across the room. So not even like slide and fall, but like whee, So
They're practicing their
velocity.
strong arm, you know?
If somebody is a physicist, apparently. Not actually, but if we're flying, we've got a lot of energy there. And apparently there's the sound of a child crying.
No. Why?
Would like to unsubscribe.
Yes.
Because I don't like that sound. And there are also the sounds of horses, which is like not uncommon at the
It's
plantation.
normal.
Yeah, and of course, yes, they had slaves, and yes, they're still believed to be on the property, but you can stay in their bed and breakfast if you would like when you go there.
No, we've already talked about this.
Yeah.
There's, I'll stay at the Glenfiddich house, but no, not Louisiana.
No, I'm gonna go ahead and skip that. So,
Mm-hmm.
No, thank you. No, thanks.
No, all good, all good. We'll pass on that one. Also busy for the foreseeable future should I get invited. No, I'm sorry, I'm booked that day.
I'm simply booked.
Let me check my calendar. It looks like I am booked. Woe is me. Then we have Marie Laveau's grave, as we talked about. This is a very small blip because this could be its own, right? Its own whole episode. She was known as the Voodoo Queen of New Orleans. So her gravesite still attracts hundreds of people every day. Like, we're talking daily, not like weekly, not like monthly, daily. But they ask her to grant their wishes. So she was known to use spells to bestow gifts to the poor, oversee spiritual rites, and heal the sick and ill. So you can't visit her gravesite just like willy-nilly, right? You can't just walk up to it. That is a big no-no. But you can hire a tour guide who will take you and teach you about her impact and her story of New Orleans lore. And then people also say that her spirit still haunts the entire cemetery. The entire thing.
There are three things I don't mess with, even though I'm a bruja: Santeria, Voodoo, and Hoodoo.
Yeah, no, we don't touch those things.
Nope.
I have friends who practice those, and I'm happy to ask questions about things I don't understand, but I'm not doing it to take part in any way. Just to learn.
Hoodoo?
Right?
Hoodoo? More like who don't.
I don't. I'm a don't.
I'm a don't. I had a friend, she died due to COVID, but I had a friend who practiced voodoo, and she was I loved her. She was fantastic, but she respected my practice. I respected hers. There were a lot of things we did not discuss, and practice was one of them. So,
yeah, that's very fair. Sometimes we don't need to talk about stuff. So yeah, go ahead and skip that. But as we know, no, Marie Laveau she got her own shit, right?
Right.
she's well known. There's also a blog post called Cemeteries and Tours in New Orleans. I have a link to that somewhere that I can share. It's also in the drive should we want to learn more about all of the cemeteries and tours and things like that New Orleans offers. Last presentation. Nope. No, last plantation. Presentation is totally not a word. Made that up. Copyright. Just gonna go ahead and put a pin in that one. Last plantation before we get to a little bit of a meteor story is the Magnolia plantation. Because on the same theme of Marie Laveau, there are several, or said to be several, voodoo curses on the property. Most notably, the metal crosses that decorated the Lecomte family graves. So that's super fun. So they said there are voodoo curses on the crosses. Is that 5 times fast? Also, I can't be responsible for what you summon. Inside, look, just trying to keep people safe here. Keeping it safe and spooky. There are West African voodoo symbols hidden all over the house by the enslaved blacksmiths. And to this day, a lot of motion detectors are triggered seemingly without there being anything there. floating voices. We talked about this before. Like, come on, do the voices need to float? Just be there, or be square. And most of the things that you can hear are not in one room. They are throughout the entire house.
It's bad enough that they float. The voices don't need to float too.
Right? Like, leave some floating for the rest of us.
There are a lot of things I want to say. Let's just keep going.
So we'll actually get into the story that I teased earlier, which is on the LaLaurie mansion.
Oh
Oh, yeah, that one.
my
Yeah,
God. Okay.
that one.
Okay. All right.
Right. So, fun fact, it's horrible. And by fun, I mean unfun. It's not a great story, and it's not happy, and there is no good ending. So just gonna
Doesn't
put that out there to start.
doesn't Nicolas Cage own the house now?
He does.
Hey.
He does. Look at you. Let me see.
I know I am star people, you know.
Let me see. 2007. He
Okay.
bought it for a sum of 3.45 million with an M. So,
Damn.
and to protect the actor's privacy, his the mortgage documents were written in a way that his name does not appear on them.
Oh, okay.
But then in 2009, it was valued at 3.5 million and was listed for auction as a result of foreclosure and purchased by the Regions Financial Corporation for 2.3 million. And then it changed hands again in 2010 when it was purchased by the current owner, Michael Whalen, for 2.1 million.
Oh, wow.
Which would actually be 2.87 million in 2023.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, for a haunted house. And fun fact, it's not even the real house, but we'll get there. For a replica. You paid almost three millies for a replica.
Okay.
Let me tell you more.
Yes, please, because
I was about to say, you paid that much for the place it was at, not for the house.
Right. So, American Horror Story has introduced this property to a bunch of people who now actually want to see it because American Horror Story did a season on it. Yeah. I think I've mentioned before, I don't watch American Horror Story because nightmares. But I know of it, right? So I know of it. I think I watched half of one season and thought about it for weeks and was like, look at that, I'm finished. But this one is about Madame Delphine McCarthy LaLaurie. She was a wealthy socialite, and she was a notorious enslaver, which is not a compliment.
no. She's... No. I did watch the American Horror Story, and I did have a lot of people reach out to me after that because they became very, very interested in witchcraft and wanted to learn everything that they could because of American Horror Story Coven. And I'm sitting there going, it's not...
This ain't the one.
No. And they were like, well, I want to get powers like that. You can't. There are certain people that can. I do know someone who can levitate things. It is the scariest thing on the planet. There are certain things you can't do.
No.
Yeah.
No, thank you. The hardest of passes.
Hardest of passes. But yeah.
Hardest of passes.
The show was very good. It was very well written. Especially in touch with...
Which is why I have nightmares.
Well, it was, and I can go down this rabbit hole forever, but it, with swamp witchcraft, or also known as Appalachian craft, folk magic and stuff like that, they bring that to the fold along with white craft and black craft, which is just racist witchcraft. It's either good magic or bad magic.
Great.
Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
Look, I can listen to and watch documentaries on true crime all day long, but once you start putting the stuff in there where they've written it and made it scary on purpose, I'm so far out.
Right.
And not in the 90s way. Not in a good way.
No.
No. So let us head back to 1832, where Madame LaLaurie moved into a neoclassical mansion at the intersection of today's Royal and Governor Nichols Streets with her third husband. We're not going to talk about what happened to the other two, Dr. Leonard Louis Nicholas LaLaurie, because everybody had to have about 90 freaking names.
Of course, the
All
French.
Right. So she married Louis LaLaurie, which is what I'm going to call him now.
Louis.
double L's, Louis LaLaurie, say that 5 times fast. And she hosted lavish parties, and she did the social thing, and she was seen about the town, and clearly he's got money, he's a doctor. It's her third marriage. Who knows what happened to the other two? But all of a sudden, like, information starts surfacing about how she's like not a great human. And by not a great human, I mean she was participating in gross mistreatment of her enslaved individuals.
Mhm.
So not great. But a woman named Carolyn Merrill Long she's a historian who like dove into Madame LaLaurie and mentioned that LaLaurie was first investigated in 1828 for cruelty toward enslaved people. Like, somebody saw something, somebody said, see something, say something. Somebody did. And this was before she had even bought this mansion, right? So she buys the mansion in 1832, but even in 1828, she'd already been like in trouble. So who knows if she got over here to start over, if she had gotten married and moved or whatever, but she'd already been.
This was already pre.
Yeah. This wasn't just at this house. This is like a character flaw.
Oh, no.
Right? This is a bad seed, a bad egg. She would not have made it in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Straight to the incinerator.
Right.
So she's the bad egg one. So court records related to the investigation haven't been found, but there is documentation that she paid for legal services and sold a number of her enslaved individuals following that investigation. Right, so these are new enslaved individuals that she has, not all of them that she sold, but like she's got a revolving door that we don't like.
Right.
On April 10th, 1834. So she moves in 1832. 2 years later, a fire breaks out of the mansion, which is like not great, right?
No.
Fires are not great in the 1800s. Fires aren't great ever. Definitely not in the 1800s. And a group of people, as they do, gathered outside the home watching it burn. Because are they doing anything? No. But are they there to gawk?
Yes.
According to the paper, the New Orleans Bee, harken back to the state bug, the city's it was a French language newspaper. Firefighters discovered 7 slaves, more or less horribly mutilated. And that is a quote.
A direct quote from the, okay.
Yep. And apparently those were locked inside the building as they attempted to control the flames. The Bee went on to condemn the barbarous and fiendish atrocities committed by the woman LaLaurie upon the persons of her slaves. Another direct quote. And then the firefighters rescued those enslaved individuals and brought them,
to safety.
That sort of thing. Yeah. So then about 2 years later, there's another story that's kind of recounted, and it added that the slaves were emaciated, showed signs of being flayed with a whip, were bound in restrictive postures, wore spiked iron collars which kept their heads in specific positions.
I'm gonna puke.
Yeah. Don't do it in my teacup.
No, God, no. It already smells like puke. I'm not going to further add to it.
Right. So not great news, literally. And so as the word of these actions surfaced, neighbors pissed. Like, at least we've got some good people around who are like, this is not how we do things.
Obviously. Right? Like, I would be
not
outraged if that was my neighbor.
100% outraged. Like, absolutely not. Well, they took it into their own hands. So about 4,000 people
Is it a mob?
ransacked the mansion and destroyed what was left of the burned mansion 2 years later. They were like, hey, we done.
We love a good mob moment.
We ain't doing this. So there's other papers, the Pittsfield Sun, the New Orleans Advertiser, several weeks after the evacuation of the slaves and the fire. They claimed that 2 of the slaves found in the mansion had died following the rescue, which we hate.
Right.
It added, we understand that in digging the yard, bodies have been disinterred and the condemned well, which is in the grounds of the mansion, having been uncovered, others, particularly that of a child, were found.
There it is. I was waiting for that part.
Yeah, I told you it was bad.
There it is.
No, not
There
the
it is.
babies.
So, yeah. So apparently, like, not only is she in trouble for, like, hey, not treating people well, and there's a mob, they then uncover even more horrible things.
That's...
There was a book written in 1838, The Retrospect of Western Travel, and she placed the number of unearthed bodies at 2, including the child whose name was Leah. Lia, which is a beautiful way to spell a name.
It is a very beautiful way to spell a name.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
The LaLauries, apparently she's still married, don't know what's wrong with this guy, fled to Lake Pontchartrain and relocated to Paris. LaLaurie died in Paris. It is believed her body was brought back to New Orleans and buried at the St. Louis Cemetery.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the husband was probably a battered husband.
Or he was in on it and they did this together.
Or
and she's just the one who's
there's that
vindictive about it.
Right.
I'm not taking blame off of this guy because I honestly don't know. So he can have some of the blame too. I will be the Oprah of blame today. You all get some. If you're involved, you get it.
Right.
So the original mansion occupied by the LaLauries did not survive, obviously. It is commonly referred to as the LaLaurie or the haunted house, but it's not the same one that they were in when she acquired that property. It was under construction. Right, so she bought it in 1830. They bought it in 1831 because why am I saying she? I don't think she's buying shit. It's 1831.
Right.
Who knows? But it was already under construction and it was finished for the LaLauries. So they put the finishing touches on it. Burned in 1834, remained in a ruined state for another 4 years, and then in 1838 was rebuilt and assumed the appearance that it has today. It was used as a public high school, a conservatory of music, and an apartment building, and a refuge for young delinquents, a bar, a furniture store, and a luxury apartment building.
I know something about the reason why it's changed so many hands.
Because it's a bad place with a capital B.
Well, so the friend of mine that practiced voodoo, she told me about a cook that was chained to the stove in the kitchens.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I remember from that story. Oh my God. Yeah. I won't go anywhere near that building. But she told me the reason being is because you can hear the chains in the kitchen at all hours of the night and day.
Yeah, no thank you. No thank you. We hate it. I did send a photo to the chat. It's honestly a gorgeous building. Like the way that they were, rebuilt it and everything like that. It's
stunning.
Pretty.
It's stunning. However,
but also don't take me there.
No.
Just goes to show evil things can come in pretty packages. Don't anybody forget it.
Right. Thanks.
Let's see.
I hate it.
No, yeah, thanks. I hate it. The dwelling had a third floor and rear building added to it later in the 19th century, and the rear building, which actually backs up to Governor Nichols Street, which only had one floor until a second one was added in the 20th century, was remodeled in the 1970s. It was redone by a set of architects, and at 3 stories high, it was described in 1928 as, quote, the highest building for squares around. Now, given the fact that this is the lowest point in the entire state, I don't know that that's touting much. It's like being the tallest among your short friends.
Whoa, you are the tallest among us.
But I am not a short friend.
I am.
I have.
She's, okay, if you think you're taller than me, Rachel, she's literally almost 1.5 feet taller than me.
I'm like 5'7".
I'm not that much taller. I'm only 5'9".
Oh, so we're relatively
right,
similar in height. Okay, cool.
If I put shoes on, I'm like 5'10", and if I wear heels, good luck to both of us because I might fall on you. But
same though. So
I'm
no promises.
I'm resting bitch at 5 foot.
And we love every 5 foot of you.
5
inches of you. We love all 5 inches.
You better leave that in there.
And it changes as the day. We choose our 5 inches as we go.
Yes.
Today I like you from weenus to forearm.
Exactly.
We're gonna give her a minute. Your weenus is right here. That's a weenus.
Careful, Meg. My epidermis is showing. Jesus Christ.
Actually, it's been a long time since I've seen you get that red.
Oh my God, I couldn't breathe.
Oh man, that was awesome.
Jesus Christ.
Always good for your daily laugh.
Oh. I can breathe.
Fun fact. Apart from the fact that we love you, the entrance, we'll go back to the building itself. The entrance to the building bears the iron grillwork, which you saw in the photo that I shared. And the door is carved with an image of Phoebus in his chariot and with wreaths of flowers and depending garlands in bas relief. So apparently it's ornate.
Okay.
Inside the vestibule, which great word, right? Like everybody needs a vestibule. I would like one. Don't know that my townhouse is going to be good for that, but hey, whatever. A girl can dream. It's floored in black and white marble, has a curved mahogany, that is mahogany, railed staircase, which runs the full 3 stories of the building. The second floor holds 3 large drawing rooms, connected by ornamented sliding doors, whose walls are decorated with plaster rosettes, carved woodwork, black marble mantelpieces, and fluted pilasters. So we've got like the ornate fancy shit's going on in this house. We already talked about who owned it, where it went. To kind of further, like we talked a little bit about why, hey, it's changed hands so many times. There have been reports of paranormal activity coming from this house, obviously. Slamming of doors, people feeling like they've been touched when no one was near them. As you said, the rattling chains, screams from the attic. And the structure itself, like I said, was originally from 1838, but now is a completely different thing altogether.
Right.
There were other reports, which I did not include in mine because there is no evidence of them. But it is said that some of the things that Madame LaLaurie did to these enslaved people included like mini lobotomies, right? Like we're drilling into people's heads. We are removing appendages. They have said, okay, this one's gross. They said that she had cut into live individuals and like kind of checked out and rearranged their insides to see what would happen. It was the worst, horrible science fair you could find. Those are the reports that were said, but there's no like evidence of that written down anywhere. But also in the 1800s, we do know that there are certain things you just didn't talk about, right? There are certain things that papers didn't report. There are certain things that it was all very prim proper. And I mean, you couldn't go anywhere without a chaperone if you were single. So
the snobbery of it, yeah.
Right. I can't say that it's not true, but I can't say that it's true, you know?
And also, like, if the enslaved people were willing to talk, who would believe them?
Yeah.
And also, majority of them were probably too terrified to even say anything.
And sick and hurt.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about whatever you can think of, we have done. Like, people are missing teeth. They're missing tongues. You're not talking that way.
Limbs.
If you're worried that you're
everything.
going to, because you're quote unquote property, you're worried you're going to end up being back with that person. And what happens if you spoke about them, right? But
it's just going to make it even worse.
There has to be a reason that 4,000 people showed up. There has to be a reason. And
right.
What was reported is enough. Half of that, 1/3 of that, one smidge of that is enough for 4,000 people to show up. But I'm not convinced that it wasn't worse. And I don't like that.
Right.
So I'm not sure where that leaves us, other than the fact that this is a horrible woman who got away with literally everything, moved, and left.
Right.
So I hate it. And quite frankly, I also hate her. And I don't hate many people.
You don't.
But this chick is bad news bears.
There's one thing that I can confirm.
Oh God. Don't confirm it.
She did use blood for her beauty regimen because it's one of the things that Bailey Sarian did a deep dive on. As we stated before, we do love deep dives on other podcasts, and that's why we drink, wine and crime, Bailey Sarian, all that fun stuff. Bailey Sarian did an episode on Madame LaLaurie, and she had talked about how she had used human blood in her beauty regimen to make herself look younger.
Thank you. I do not like any of that.
No.
We're not bathing in the blood of babes in order to look younger. Girl, get an eye cream.
Well, I mean, this was it was like the epitome of skincare, because people would bloodlet themselves and use that in their own skincare. So, I mean, she was, without injuring herself, she was doing it that way. And I do not condone that at all. That is grotesque and just gruesome. But
there was a duchess that did that, and
it has been requested. Her name is Elizabeth Bathory, and that's where she got the idea, because it was in the 15 and 1400s, I think, when that happened. But
something like that.
Yeah, I think
still don't like it.
I think Sam said they wanted to cover it, which is our lovely librarian. We love them. They go through our episodes, they go through our notes and make sure that all of our stuff is actually factual, believe it or not.
Nice.
I love it. It's one less step for me to do.
There you go. I also have a story from Reddit, if you would like me to read it, about somebody who worked at the LaLaurie house.
Oh, yes, absolutely. One second.
I will...
I asked my husband for another cup of coffee because I was using mine when I was sewing the bag this morning. So I'm fresh out of coffee.
Can you make me one too? That doesn't taste like coffee. Thank you.
Yes, I will absolutely do that for you. Okay.
Fabulous. So, full disclosure, this is not our story. It was found on Reddit by a redacted, deleted account from 5 years ago.
Okay.
So, gonna just put that out there. I'm going to read it as is, so apologize. The only things I take credit for are whatever blips, bumps, and trips I make using my own yips.
Well, we do have a couple of Reddit stories that we've done on here before. One by she doesn't want to be called Tiffany anymore. She wants something different for her name.
Okay. So she's Whiffany. Great.
Whiffany. Yes, we like that.
Whiffany. Or Whitney. We can go with Whitney. I don't know.
Whitney.
Or she could be what my child is currently calling everything, which is Bob.
Bob.
The basketball is Bob. There's a bouncy ball. It's Bob. The toilet seat is named Bob. Also, why does the toilet seat have a name? We have questions here. But everything right now is Bob. So anyway, let's get to Not Bob. And Not Bob has written about working at the LaLaurie house. And it says, a few years ago, now this was posted 5 years ago, so this is even further than 5 years ago. A few years ago, I was going through a rough patch financially, aren't we all? And was looking for just about any job that would pay a decent wage, had flexible hours, and knowing that I used to work as a housekeeper, quite honestly, was something that they were hoping that they would come across as a job opportunity. At that time, they were living in, and we get back to this name that I butchered before, Vacherie, Vacherie, because I'm spelling it twice because I butchered it, which was kind of far from all of the major hustle and bustle that Louisiana had to offer. Luckily for them, a friend of theirs told them about a small housekeeping job that their boss had mentioned, right? They were looking for someone to come in 2 times a week, clean the first and second floors of this house that was located in downtown New Orleans. Fast forward things a bit, they ended up going down to the place, and it was a huge, beautiful French home, literally at the heart of NOLA, and they got the job. Good for them.
Way to go.
First day, vanilla, all good things, nothing but work. They did what they were there to do, and as they got ready to leave, they got a whiff of like a horrible stench, and it smelled like rotten, burning meat. And they thought, oh my God, did I forget to take out the trash? So they ran to the kitchen. The smell faded. They kept checking but couldn't find the source of the smell anywhere. So after double checking everything, they left. When they came back the day after, because a couple days later, they were on the second floor dusting the parlor area when they heard chains being dragged on the floor. Again, at first it startled them, and they just brushed it off as someone outside, but then they heard it again and again. It was definitely coming from inside the house.
The call is
So
coming from inside the house.
right? They ran as fast as they could downstairs to tell the other housekeeper that somebody else could possibly be inside because it was only 2 of them that day.
Uh-huh.
She just looked at them and told them to mind their own business and keep working, that it was nothing. Look, American Horror Story lady, don't tell me it's nothing. Like, don't. I don't believe you.
I would be like, just stick your headphones in, just turn your music up, just ignore the things.
Right.
Just ignore the things.
Right.
Girl, that's 2 chains. That's 2 chains. It ain't real chains. Just turn it up. The other housekeeper was kind of a mean old lady, but they shrugged it off and went back upstairs. Again, out of nowhere, the putrid stench of burnt rotten meat filled the air. It was very annoying because just like that, it randomly came and went. Some days you'd smell it downstairs, others upstairs. Later on the day where they were using the restroom, they heard this huge commotion upstairs on the 3rd floor, what sounded like a young girl screaming and a woman chasing after her to, quote, get in here. And she was like, what is happening? She opened the door, heard running upstairs, and then it stopped. The yelling, the screaming, everything. Silent. They went back downstairs, and at this point, they were frustrated and told the other housekeeper that what they had just heard. She looked at them and said, you never heard anything, okay? It's best if you go on as if you don't notice a thing. Thing is, she always assured them that there was no one there, that they were fine. If I'm hearing screaming, I'm not fine. I'm not okay.
It's
It's disembodied voices.
Quick pause. You and I both know that that's a memory.
I know.
That's embedded.
But I don't want to be part of it.
I know, but I mean, there's no way to, you and I both know we can't exercise that. There's no way to remove that from the property because the souls aren't rested. So anybody who thinks,
mean I like it.
Right. Anybody who thinks they can get a wild hair up their ass and they can quote unquote cure that house is very wrong.
It's been there for a while.
Yeah.
Needless to say, while they worked at that house for 1 month, because that's how long they could take, they heard a repetition of the same yelling, screaming, and chasing. Other days they'd hear the chains and dropping on the floor. The thing that did it for them was when they were taking their lunch break on the 2nd floor and heard a sudden cry of agony and despair, followed by the sound of chains that seemed to be coming from the 3rd floor. They panicked, thinking someone was hurt and needed help. So as soon as they went to get up and get help, they saw a tall, dark man with chains around his neck. And just like that, they ran out of the house as quick as possible. They never told the person that hired them that they had no intentions of returning. They just stopped showing up. No call, no show.
Right.
As rude as it seems, they said they couldn't care less and they wanted nothing to do with that place anymore. It wasn't until 4 years ago when they had moved away from Louisiana and returned to New Orleans with their boyfriend on vacation, they decided to do one of the spooky history tours. And they said, I tell you, when I saw that familiar building, my heart sank. Anxiety was building up inside me as the tour guide told the story of the building they once used to work at, the horrible, tragic, malicious things that happened there. They felt sick to their stomach and begged their boyfriend to go back to the hotel. When they worked at the infamous LaLaurie mansion, they never knew the history and had never heard of it. But after the tour and the facts and doing their own research, everything they experienced made sense. He said, it still gives me goosebumps to this day, remembering the day I heard Madame LaLaurie chasing after what could have been a slave girl upstairs in the 3rd floor. I'm almost positive it was her. Also, I'll add that the stench of rotten, burning meat could have been the spirits of the many slaves that died, tortured at the hands of that evil woman. Also, not mentioned, the fire. Could have been part of the fire.
Right.
Somebody else answered and left a comment and said, yes, I used to live literally right across the corner from this house on St. Peter. I hated even walking by this house. Even my house has activity. There was an older slave woman and a little girl. I would hear them walking up and down the stairs, and the little girl would come during times of emotional stress. There were other entities that came in and out, but the 2 I spoke of were always there. The whole French Quarter has a very active spirit population and residual feelings of hundreds of years of humanity doing some pretty traumatic things. The whole city of New Orleans, in fact, is a vortex of activity. They saw things that make them sound crazy, and if they tell someone who didn't experience with them, they get weird looks. There's also a funeral home at the end of Canal Street next to a cemetery that's very active as well. The cemetery souls spill over into the old funeral home too, as well as the resident spirits. It says New Orleans is a special kind of city, that's for sure. Special is spelled
Not the word.
S-P-O-O-K-Y.
Yeah. Not. I mean, definitely special, yes, but it's more like locked in a coffin.
Yeah, there's so many things.
So many things. There's just.
Yeah, we could be here forever, but I figured like we had lives, so maybe not spending 6 hours on Louisiana. If you
Right.
want to go, you're not going to be at a loss for spooky things to do.
I mean, and as we've discussed before, we can definitely go in depth on some of the stories. Like I said, we have had requests to do, Alcatraz and everything like that. I put my foot down at the Cecil. Don't want to relive that. I'm sorry. I'm not. Don't want to do that at all. But I mean, if you guys listen to Meg's story today and you want her to go in depth,
I'm happy to do a deepy dive.
a deepy dive. We love that.
A deepy dive.
We love that. I hated today. I loved it, but thanks, I hate it.
You're welcome. Happy to do it for you. Also, I'm kind of sad I showered before this, because now I need a shower after.
Because you got to scrub the shit off of you.
Scrub the spooky.
Scrub the spookies. I can't. My husband keeps sending me funny. He's the meme maker for the podcast. He makes memes and then I fix them and put the logo on it so people can share it. But he's making them not serial killers, like not funny facts. He's using like the like Michael and Jason and Freddy and
there you go.
You put Jason working at KFC.
Wait till he gets to the point where he starts doing like things that we say, like unhinged things that we say. That's gonna be
right.
He doesn't listen to the podcast. He only listens to it when I record it.
So he only hears one side of it. That poor man.
I know. Seriously, he needs to.
He needs to listen to all of the derangedness.
I think he will. Like when this is coming out after, so Emily won't hear it. So surprise, Emily. Sorry to hurt your feelings, but all three of us on this call planned a surprise trip for me to come visit you. So I'm not on my honeymoon. Surprise!
Sorry, not sorry.
Kill surprise.
Kill surprise. But if there's something specific that you wanted to hear, do let us know. Send us a message. Follow us on Instagram, our Facebook group, TPW3M Podcast. Oliver now has a Facebook.
I saw.
Oliver's our mascot. We love her.
I requested her to take Oliver on her travels and get him pictures of him on the state line, so that way, after the surprise is done, she can post them on his Facebook and be like, Oliver went on a trip.
Yep.
It's like Flat Stanley, but it's Fluffy Oliver.
Yes.
Exactly.
So Josh is totally down for that. We're going to take pictures in front of the state signs and everything like that. So
I'm so excited.
And in front of the Buc-ee's. He's going to take us to Buc-ee's.
Yes, that is a must.
Take him in front of
must.
The motherland. I had fun today, guys. I hated it, but I had fun.
Yes, same.
Keep being spooky, and we'll see you guys next time.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Next time on the Pandemonium Witches. That's a lot of fucking money.
Right?
Do you know how many tacos I could buy with that?
So many tacos.
So many
tacos and burritos. It's known for its hauntings, specifically the haunting of room 315. And what they saw was blood spattered all over the walls, an odd sight considering that the sailor supposedly jumped. This incident was kept quiet for many years, and miraculously the sailor survived his injuries. But today it is said she plays tricks on men who go into the saloon while being kind to any woman who answers, often caressing her hair. I'm sorry, you can be kind to me. Don't touch my hair.